Two fighters, two superpowers, two completely different visions of what it means to own the sky. Russia's Su-57 Felon, a beast built to dominate through raw power, blistering speed, and brutal firepower. And America's F-35 Lightning II, a digital ghost that finds you, kills you, and leaves before you ever knew it was there. This is not just a tech showdown. This is a war of philosophies, a Cold War rivalry reborn in titanium, radar-absorbing paint, and hypersonic missiles. Today, we're going deep. We're going to compare these two fifth-generation fighters across every dimension that matters: stealth, speed, sensors, weapons, cost, and real-world combat. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which jet holds the edge, and why the answer is more complicated than you think. Let's go. Origins and development history. The PACO-FA program, Russia's leap forward. After the Cold War, Russia watched America's F-22 Raptor take flight and knew it was falling behind. So in the early 2000s, Moscow launched the PAC-FA program, Perspektivny Aviacyjny Kompleks Frontowej Aviacji. In plain English, the next-generation frontline aviation complex. Sukhoi got the contract. Prototypes began flying as early as 2010. The plane was known internally as the T-50, NATO's designation, Felon. And when you hear that name, you start to understand the ambition. This was Russia's statement to the world. We are back in the stealth game. The Su-57 officially entered service with the Russian Aerospace Forces in 2020. But, and here's the thing, fewer than 30 are believed to be operational today. Production has been strangled by Western sanctions, supply chain issues, and technological bottlenecks. Russia wanted 76 aircraft by 2027. That target is slipping further away by the year. The Joint Strike Fighter, building the F-35. The F-35's story begins in the 1990s with the Joint Strike Fighter program. America's bold attempt to build one platform that could replace 4 different aircraft for 3 different branches of the military. The F-16 for the Air Force. The A-10 and AV-8B for the Marines. The F/A-18 for the Navy. One jet to rule them all. Lockheed Martin won the contract with a single-engine, stealth-first design. The F-35 first flew in 2006 and entered service in 2015. It has since become the most widely exported fifth-generation fighter in history. Over 1,300 aircraft delivered to more than 20 nations, with a record 191 jets rolling off the production line in 2025 alone. The F-35 program wasn't without controversy. Massive cost overruns, delays, and technical teething problems plagued it for years. But today, it's the backbone of Western air power, battle-tested across the Middle East and Indo-Pacific. Design and airframe, size, structure, and physical philosophy. The first thing you notice when you put these two jets side by side is the sheer size difference. The Su-57 is a big airplane. We're talking over 14 feet longer than the F-35, with nearly double the wing area. It has twin engines and 3D thrust vectoring nozzles. It's a heavyweight, built for dominance. The F-35 is compact, single-engine, and every curve on its body exists for one purpose: to be invisible to radar. The Su-57 also uses radar-absorbing composite materials and a blended wing body for stealth. But stealth was one consideration among many. On the F-35, stealth was the primary driver of every single design decision. Every panel, every door hinge, every inlet angle was shaped around minimizing the radar cross-section. Length, Su-57 approximately 65 feet 11 inches, while F-35A has approximately 51 feet 2 inches. Wingspan, Su-57 approximately 48 feet 3 inches, and F-35A approximately 35 feet. Two different philosophies written in aluminum and carbon fiber. Stealth capabilities. The invisible war. Who hides better? This is where the gap becomes most visible. The F-35 was engineered from day one to be a ghost. Its radar cross-section is estimated to be comparable to a metal golf ball, tiny. The F-35's shape ensures radar waves are reflected away from the emitter rather than bounce back. It's not just the shape either. The coatings, the weapons bays, the engine inlet design all work in concert. The Su-57 is stealthy, but contextually stealthy. Its blended wing body reduces its radar signature compared to older Russian jets, and it uses radar-absorbing materials. But analysts broadly agree that the Su-57's radar cross-section is larger than the F-35's. Stealth was one design priority. Speed, agility, and payload were others, and those things work against each other. Here's the catch, though. The Su-57 carries L-band AESA radar panels in its wings. L-band frequencies can, in theory, detect some stealth aircraft more easily. Whether that gives the Su-57 a meaningful ability to spot an F-35 before the F-35 spots, it remains one of the most debated questions in military aviation circles. Speed and maneuverability, the need for speed, Russia's kinematic edge. The Su-57 is faster. Full stop. It can push past Mach 2, roughly 1,500 miles per hour, compared to the F-35's top speed of around Mach 1.6. That's not a small gap. And the Su-57 has supercruise capability, meaning it can sustain supersonic speeds without burning fuel and afterburner the whole time. But the real showstopper is the Su-57's three-dimensional thrust vectoring. Those engines can redirect thrust in any direction, giving the pilot the ability to pull off maneuvers that defy belief. We're talking Pugachev's Cobra, the Culbit, high angle of attack aerobatics that look physically impossible. In a turning dogfight at close range, the Su-57 would be extraordinarily dangerous. The F-35 is no slouch, but it trades agility for stealth. It was never designed to outturn a dedicated air superiority fighter. And the doctrine behind it says it shouldn't have to, because it should never be close enough for a turning fight in the first place. Edge. Su-57. On raw kinematic performance. Avionics and sensor fusion. The digital brain, sensor fusion and network warfare. If speed is the Su-57's superpower, information is the F-35's. And in modern warfare, information wins. The F-35 carries one of the most advanced sensor suites ever put on a fighter aircraft, the AN/APG-81A ESA radar. The distributed aperture system, 6 infrared cameras embedded around the aircraft giving the pilot a 360-degree view of the battlefield through the helmet visor, essentially allowing them to look through the floor of the plane. The electro-optical targeting system, the AN/ASQ-239 electronic warfare suite, and a helmet-mounted display that fuses all of this data into a single, coherent, real-time picture. But here's the most powerful part. The F-35 doesn't just fight for itself. It shares its sensor picture with every other F-35 in the battle, with AWACS, with naval vessels, with ground commanders. The F-35 is not just a fighter, it's a flying command and control node. It makes the entire Allied force smarter and more lethal. The Su-57 has a powerful AESA radar and IRST sensor, but its full avionics suite is still maturing. Russian sources claim impressive capabilities, but independent verification is limited. What we do know is that the F-35's sensor fusion is battle-tested, coalition-integrated, and unmatched. Edge F-35 comprehensively. Comparison. Role: Su-57. Felon has air superiority / multi-role fighter jet, on the other hand. F-35, Lightning II has multi-role strike fighter jet. Engine, Su-57 powered with 2x AL-41F1, is Delier 30 pending, and F-35 powered with 1x F-135-PW-100. Speed, Su-57 has a speed of Mach 2 while F-35 has Mach 1.6. Range, Su-57 has a massive 2,200 miles, while F-35 has just 1,380 miles. Stealth Su-57 has moderate, blended body, and F-35 has exceptional, purpose-designed. Maneuverability, Su-57 has 3D thrust vectoring, Cobra, Culbit, while F-35 has standard, sacrificed for stealth. Avionics and fusion, Su-57 has maturing AESA plus IRST array, and F-35 has industry-leading DAS, HMDS, EOTS. Weapon payload, Su-57 has larger bays, hypersonic capable, and F-35 has precision-guided internal loadout. Unit cost, Su-57 has approximately $50 to $70 million, and F-35 has approximately $82.5 million. Fleet size, Su-57 has less than 30 active, while F-35 has a massive 1,300 plus delivered, 20 nations combat proven. Su-57 has limited, Syria-Ukraine standoff, while F-35 proved itself in Middle East, Indo-Pacific. Weapons and payload. Lethality. What can they actually kill? Both fighters use internal weapons bays to maintain stealth during combat. Carrying weapons internally means no external pylons breaking up that clean radar scattering profile. The F-35 carries AIM-120 AMRAAM air-to-air missiles, AIM-9X sidewinders for close-range combat, and a precision strike arsenal including GBU series JDAM bombs, small-diameter bombs, and the JSM cruise missile. It can also carry external stores in permissive environments, but doing so sacrifices stealth. The Su-57 has a larger airframe and bigger internal bays. It can carry up to 6 large missiles internally, including the R-77M long-range air-to-air missile and reportedly the KH-59MK-2 cruise missile. The big headline capability, the Su-57 is designed to integrate with Russian hypersonic weapons, potentially including the Kinjal system. If that integration matures, the strike range becomes formidable. Edge, roughly equal, though Su-57 carries more mass. F-35 carries more precision and network integration, cost, production, and global reach, numbers, allies, and industrial power. On paper, the Su-57 looks cheaper. Russia prices it at around $50 to $70 million per aircraft, compared to the F-35A's roughly $82.5 million. But context matters here. Russian labor and material costs are inherently lower. The low production volume likely means the real per-unit cost is higher than advertised, and Western sanctions have cut off access to advanced components that Russia would need to build at scale. The contrast in production scale is staggering. More than 1,300 F-35s have been delivered to over 20 nations. In 2025 alone, Lockheed Martin delivered a record 191 aircraft. The Su-57, fewer than 30 in active service as of early 2025. Russia's original goal of 76 aircraft by 2027 looks increasingly unrealistic. India, a potential major customer, walked away from the joint development program years ago. And perhaps most importantly, the F-35 is embedded in an alliance of 20-plus nations with shared logistics, shared training, shared tactics, and shared sensor networks. The Su-57 has one export client. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the industrial, diplomatic, and strategic ecosystem built around each aircraft. Edge, F-35, massively, strategically. Combat record and real-world use. Has either jet been tested in battle? Real combat experience is the ultimate test, and here the gap is clear. The F-35 has flown combat missions in the Middle East. It has conducted precision strikes in contested airspace. It has participated in massive multinational exercises from Europe to the Indo-Pacific. Its battle-tested systems, and the lessons learned from those missions, have fed back into software updates, tactics, and doctrinal development. It is operationally mature in a way that cannot be replicated on a simulator. The Su-57 has seen some action, limited deployments to Syria for live-fire testing and evaluation, and reportedly standoff strike missions in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But notice the phrase, standoff strikes. The Su-57 has not flown into contested airspace at low altitude and gone head-to-head with modern air defenses. Its capabilities remain largely theoretical and untested in high-intensity peer conflict. Edge, F-35, no contest. Which jet actually wins? So, who wins? If you drop these two jets into a 1990s dogfight, close range, visual, turning and burning at low speed, the Su-57 is terrifying. Its thrust vectoring, its speed, its sheer physical presence. It would be an extremely dangerous opponent in that scenario. But modern air combat doesn't work like that. Modern air combat is about who sees who first, who fires first, who jams who first. And on those terms, the F-35 wins. It was designed to find you before you find it, share that information with every allied platform on the network, and engage from ranges where the Su-57 never even knows a threat exists. Most wargame simulations place the F-35 ahead of the Su-57, precisely because of its superior stealth and situational awareness. The F-35's sensors can detect and engage large numbers of enemy fighters from standoff ranges while remaining invisible. The Su-57's real weakness is not its design, it's its numbers. Fewer than 30 aircraft. Limited exports, sanctions choking production. An avionics suite still maturing. Even if the Su-57 is an excellent aircraft on paper, an aircraft that exists in handfuls cannot shape a conflict the way over 1,300 proven combat-tested jets deployed across 20 allied nations can. The F-35 wins this comparison, not just as a fighter aircraft, but as a strategic system. The Su-57 wins on agility and speed, but in the kind of war these aircraft would actually fight, agility and speed matter less than invisibility and information. What makes this comparison fascinating is that it's not really about which airplane is better in some abstract sense. It's about two completely different answers to the same question. How do you survive and win in a modern war for the sky? Russia answered, be faster, be more agile, carry bigger weapons, and trust the pilot's skill. America answered, be invisible, share information, and kill the enemy before he even knows you're there. As the next generation of fighter aircraft, the F-47, the Su-75 checkmate, begin to appear on the horizon, this rivalry will evolve again. But right now, in 2025, the F-35 sits as the most capable, most deployed, most battle-tested fifth-generation fighter on the planet. The Su-57 has ambition, it has genuine capability, but it doesn't yet have the scale or the combat maturity to match what America and its allies have built. That could change. The story isn't over. But that's where we stand today. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who love this kind of deep dive content. Subscribe if you want to see more military aviation breakdowns, weapon system comparisons, and geopolitical analysis done right. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Which jet do you think holds the real edge? Let's debate it below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.